Hey guys, how are you today? Hope you're all doing well. So I'm sure you've all seen these dupe eyeshadow palettes from Shop Hush floating around all over YouTube. And as you saw in my Shop Hush and Ulta haul, which I will link up here in case you haven't watched that yet, I did get a few palettes from Shop Hush. And so today we are going to be doing a look from the Bad Habit Supernova Palette. Ew. Gross. I'm trying out that galactic lip paint that I got in one of my BoxyCharms. I think it was my December one. It's like pilling disgustingly in my inner lip. Ew, well that's not good. So I'm gonna be doing a look with the Supernova palette, and this is supposed to be a dupe for the Natasha Denona Lila palette. I do not own the Lila palette. I cannot bring myself to spend $130 on a palette. I won't do it, I refuse. So I'm not gonna be able to tell you if this is a dupe exactly for that, but we are going to test and see if it is an eyeshadow worth its $16 price point. Now, $16, yes, is not that expensive when you think about it, but this is kind of like an off-brand, so who knows if it's actually going to work well. I think all of the palettes that I bought off of Shop Hush were all Bad Habit. They seem to, when I did some research online, they seem to be the best when it comes to eyeshadow palettes and performance and quality and all that good stuff. I did play a little bit with the Artistry palette, which is supposed to be a dupe for the Master Palette by Mario and ABH collab. That palette I really like, but that was much more of neutral colors. These have some very fun colors in them. Like, look at these things. They're gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So, we're gonna play with these. I don't often do bright looks with eyeshadow palettes, but I wanted to today. I want to be adventurous. Let's get into it. I've already primed my eyelids with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer, and I really like it. I just got it. $4.99, I believe, is what I paid for it, and it's amazing. I'm really, really pleased with that purchase. Okay, so since this is actually dried down, there's like no tacky residue whatsoever with this. I don't really need to put down something to set the primer. So I'm just gonna go straight into my transition shade. I don't know, this color Red Giant is really speaking to me. So I think I wanna use that guy. It's really pretty. I really, really like that. All right, so I guess for our transition shade, I'm going to go in with the color Interstellar, which is that one right there. Oh wow, there's a lot of kick up, but I mean, I don't mind that if it's gonna actually be pigmented. And what's really nice is there's mirrors on all of these palettes, so got a mirror here. So I'm just gonna pop this in my crease. It blends really nicely. I don't see it really being patchy, maybe just a little bit like right here, but that could also mean that my blending skills leave much to be desired, so I don't know if that's really the palette's fault. Okay, so they are super pigmented. You do have to be a little bit careful, and when you're blending, mine did kind of move around everywhere, so I guess we're just gonna have to do the same thing on the other side and just kind of let it be down there. I mean, I'm gonna be covering it up anyway with the darker color, so I'm not really worried about it. So far, it's actually pretty nice. I can't complain. Looks okay to me. So, all right, let's keep going. Okay, so we've got the crease blended out. Now we're gonna go in with a little bit of a deeper shade just to go right kind of underneath the crease there. The color Celestial for that one. And Celestial is that guy right there at the bottom. It's more of a burgundy tone, whereas Interstellar was a brown tone. So I figure if we're gonna use Red Giant, I wanna work my way up there. Again, another color that's pretty pigmented. Tapping on it does bring up a bit of fallout, but I mean, it's definitely not the worst thing in the world. I can deal with a little fallout. Like I said, I'm just going underneath the crease there. I don't wanna blend it up too high. Okay, so when I was blending out Celestial, I noticed that on this eye, not so much of this eye, but on this eye, my left one, it's kind of patchy. It's like right, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but let me see see if I can zoom you in a little bit so you can tell. So like, can you see right there? I blended just as much as I blended on my right eye, but for some reason it's looking a little patchy right in that area there. I might be able to build it a little there and hopefully salvage it. We'll see if that helps, but my hopes aren't high. I'm gonna take a different brush and see if that helps. Okay, I think I fixed it, at least best I could. What I've noticed is if you blend too much, it almost blends away the product entirely. So you do have to be a little bit careful with the blending. I kind of just like, I took a fluffy, it was still a blending brush. This is the Morphe RG18. It works really well for blending in the crease. I do like it for that. I actually really like this brush a lot. But it's also a little bit denser and it's not huge. It's not like the one I was using was the Morphe E22. It didn't blend out very well with this brush, but it did with this. So brushes may matter when it comes to these palettes. It worked a little bit better when I packed it on with this brush instead. So moving on, let's go into our next color. So I want to use that red giant that I showed you. That's that one right there. Remember that annoying neighbor dog? Yeah, made my dogs bark now too. It's a little annoying. So I think I'm gonna keep red giant kind of out on the outer third of the eye. Then I may go in with flare right here. That looks like it might be a super, well, just gonna swatch it because why not? Ooh, flare is pretty. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go in with flare on the inner corner. That might be fun. Oh, or should I do solar? Solar is this really pretty like orange color right here. So I think I might actually go in with solar on the inner corner because that, or like the inner lid, because that's a really freaking pretty color. Now these swatch really nicely on the hand, but that doesn't necessarily mean jack. Like they could be horrible on the eyelid. So I guess we're just gonna figure it out as we go. I'm gonna take a little bit of a more dense brush, nothing too dense. I still want it a little flat, but not super flat. I'm not like packing it on. I'm gonna diffuse a little bit of it, but we're gonna go in with that red giant shade, outer portion. And I mean, that picked up a lot, so that's definitely pretty pigmented. Ow, do you ever get like brush hairs that go in your eyelid and stab you in the eyeball? It happens to me all the time. It really doesn't feel good. That color is freaking gorgeous. It's actually really pigmented. I thought it was, I mean, I know the swatch was nice, but I thought it was gonna be a little patchy. It's really not. It's going on really well and blending super nice. I think my left eyelid has different texture than my right eyelid because things seem to blend differently on those two. Does anybody else have that? Let me know in the comments below if you do. If you experience the same texture eyelid problems I do. Okay, so now that red giant is on, I am going to go in with that really pretty orangey solar color and see how that turns out. I do want to pack it on and make that one a little bit brighter. So let's hope this works. Ew, look at a fuzzy. I just washed my brushes recently. I can't say the word brushes. I don't know what my problem is. But I just washed them recently, and when I let them dry on the towel, I feel like the towel leaves fuzzies all over my brushes. It's either that or my room is dusty, which could very well be too. I don't tend to wet my eyeshadows. I don't know why, I just don't like the way that they cling to my eyes after I do that. Like when they dry down, it gets really, really dry and it really bothers my eyelids. I'm not super impressed with this color. It's not as bright as I wanted it to be. I mean, based on how it's swatched, I thought it would be a lot brighter, but I will say on the part that I am blending it on top of Red Giant, it's like a really pretty effect. It's just like the subtlest orange over that really pretty like fuchsia-y color, and it's turning out gorgeous, and I really like that. So for funsies, I totally just missed putting my brush back in my holder. I just like mic dropped that shit. I was like, whatever, go ahead, fall on my table and make a ruckus. That's cool. So I'm gonna just use my finger and go in with Solar and see if that makes a difference. Fallout City right here, right on my little nosy. I don't know if you can see the speck. You might be able to. I'm afraid to wipe it away. I'm gonna have to brush it away in a second. But that's definitely from Red Giant. That's not from the orange. Okay, so I think that's a really pretty combination. I really enjoy it. I'm gonna go in and blend out with Interstellar a little bit, just on the creasy area. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of the orange on that shader brush again, and I'm just gonna go into my inner corner with that and kind of bring it underneath too. I'm just going to take a bit of Celestial and just put that on my lower lash line. I desperately need to clean up the edges because I'm clumsy with eyeshadow. Do not ask me how I did it, but I somehow had blended the purple, the Red Giant color, like all up here. I looked like a raccoon, like a purple bandit raccoon. I have since fixed it, so it doesn't look nearly that bad. I don't know how I did it. I'm guessing when I went in with that transition shade again and tried to blend it, it just blended the Red Giant everywhere. So it's all fixed now. We're good there. Now I am gonna go in a little bit with a highlighter color just on my brow bone. I do not want to use the orange color. I think that would just be a little bit too much for there. They do have this really pretty color called Serious right here, and I think I'm gonna go in with that just very lightly. We do not want another incident. Okay, so just gonna add some liner and mascara, and I think this will be finished. So I will be right back with all of that done. Okay, so eye look is complete, minus the little mishap we had with the over blending. I actually like it. I think it turned out really good. Yeah, I will say my thoughts on this. I'm gonna, even though like I said, I don't own the Lila palette from Natasha Denona, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that probably still performs way better than this one. Not that the Supernova palette was bad. I'm not saying at all. What I'm saying is there are some things to watch out for. Number one, the blendability of these. Yeah, they do blend. They really do. But they almost blend too much, so you do have to be careful. They will overblend and get patchy and kind of disappear, so you really just have to kind of watch for that. That being said, once you kind of figure out the tricks of it, you can get it to work. And it looks really nice, I think, anyway. If you don't agree, then that's totally fine. If you think this looks ridiculous and awful, then, you know, that's your opinion, and I respect that, and I get it if you don't think this is worth it. To me, once I was able to kind of work with it, I think it was good. And it's only $16. And I will say, if you buy this one and the Solstice palette was the name of the other one, that's another supposed Natasha Denona dupe. If you buy those together, it's $24 instead of $32. So you do save money, and it turns out I paid, I guess, $12 for this palette then. That's not bad. $12 is pretty good. That's, you know, a drugstore priced palette, in my opinion. And this performed better than most drugstore palettes do, I would have to say. So I'm not upset about it. Again, you do have to work with it a little bit, and that's just fine. That could just be this palette, but the colors are just absolutely gorgeous. They really are. I really enjoy these colors. I'm gonna do more looks with this, and not bad, $12. I can deal with $12. I will be doing some more looks with some of the other palettes I bought and seeing if they are also worth their money, because I feel like with palettes, they're hit or miss. Just because one from this company is good, another one could be absolute shit. So you just don't know until you start to use them and do stuff with them. And this is really the first one that I've truly played around with. So there is a little information on the back here. Shelf life of 12 months for these eyeshadows. They are cruelty free according to Bad Habit. Now with them, if you go onto Shop Hush, you're gonna notice this, and I think this is a little shady. It says, you know, products from LA. Okay, they're distributed in LA. They are not made in LA. They're actually made in China, which if you look at the back of this palette, it doesn't say China. It says PRC, which is the People's Republic of China. Just be wary of that. If I know some places, if you're really against brands testing on animals. I'm pretty sure in order to sell in China, they have to test on animals. Now, I don't know if these sell in China or not, but it says cruelty free. Take it at face value. Maybe it isn't. Maybe do a little bit more research on that if that's something you're really concerned about too. And all in all, this is a nice little eyeshadow palette, pretty inexpensive, worth the $12 in my book. Thanks so much for sticking around, guys. I appreciate it if you've made it this far. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button before you leave if you'd like to keep seeing more videos from me. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, weekend, whatever, whenever, wherever you are. Take care. Bye-bye.